Welcome to SVG-TV News for Monday, August 15th, 2016. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. Ambassadors, diplomats, heads of missions and consulates will be guided by the newly approved Foreign Service Order as this country commemorates Diplomatic Week. This also comes as a new cohort of diplomatic heads has been announced. Chief Education Officer Luan Gilchrist will become SVG's ambassador to the United States. Director of the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, Howie Prince, will become the Consul General to New York, as he replaces Selman Walters. Ambassador to Cuba, Dexter Rose, will be replaced by former Ambassador to CARICOM and Head of Regional Integration and Diaspora Unit, Ellsworth John. The event held earlier today at the Foreign Affairs Conference Room under the theme, Re-Energizing Economic Growth and Development in the 21st Century Through Diplomacy, also seeks to have the delegates be part of a national consultation to create a strategic document which will also help to guide their operation. Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Nathaniel Williams, says the document will also be a reference point to help newly appointed designates.
Our ambassadors and designates have now a document to guide their work at the missions in basically all aspects of operations. Of course, this newly approved document, and I'm speaking here about the newly approved Foreign Service Order, will be a reference point in our discussion for the rest of this week. I believe this consultation is quite opportune in that it comes at a time when new appointees, new ambassador designates will be assuming responsibility very soon and will welcome the sharing of experiences and the art of the trade from those, as I said before, who are in the room and are seasoned ambassadors.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Louis Straker outlined that the agenda of many diplomatic councils have changed, with a focus on practical issues rather than just resolving conflict.
Diplomacy is no longer war and peace. Diplomacy is now education, science and technology, health, education and law, among others. This means that the role and functions of diplomats must also change. Diplomats are no longer confined to representation, negotiation, communication and consular services, but are now engaged in reporting, trade promotion, country branding, services promotion, public relations, cultural exchanges, and the like. Simply put, today's diplomats must be equipped to grapple with the myriad of issues which now confront global governance.
Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves thanked delegates for their service to this country and highlighted that diplomats are not living lavish lifestyles as purported.
We have to create jobs. We have to reduce poverty, reduce inequality, improve the quality of lives of our people. And we have to do so through a system of good governance, which involves practicing democracy and alive constitutionalism and the protection of fundamental rights and freedoms. And there's a view that our diplomats are living it high and off the hog. All I want people to do is to read the estimates. And this is one of the things with many persons who comment on things. They comment on the basis of prejudices and not on the basis of facts. And facts are the only serious basis on which one can have intelligent commentary.
The cybercrime bill has drummed up a barrage of national discussion and debates. During the recent parliamentary debate, members on both sides of the House held to their position on what the bill means for SVG and its citizens. Nalisha Miller has more in this report.
The Prime Minister Sir Louis Straker denounced claims of the restriction of freedom of expression in this country with the Cybercrime Bill 2016. Straker's remarks came on Friday, August 12th during his contribution to the parliamentary debate. He stated with the swift progression of technology, it has now become intrusive and invasive, and he has a fear that without the cybercrime bill, this country and its citizens will not be protected against such dangers. He stressed that the bill does not seek to muzzle Vincentians in any way.
This bill does not muzzle anyone, but it must protect those of us who are fair game to others who seem to take license and liberty against us.
The Deputy Prime Minister further noted the opposition is genetically predisposed to counter every issue the government seeks to address in this country.
This is what they have done with the education revolution. This is what they have done with the geothermal energy, when the gentleman said under no circumstance will he support the geothermal bill. This is what they have done with the YES program, when they call it the Youth Exploitation Program. This is what they have done with Argyle International Airport, when they said they having candlelight march in order to prevent the president of Taiwan from giving any money.
Sir Louis added that persons have nothing to fear with the passing of the cybercrime bill as long as they abide by the law. Meantime, opposition Member of Parliament Daniel Cummings had an opposing view on the cybercrime bill. He said the bill produces more problems than solutions. He further spoke on the restriction of freedom of information, which he said the bill posed.
If we're going to deal with the cyber bill, then we need to put safeguards. When you look at the cyberbullying, and when you see how flimsical the conditions for charging, how easy it is for someone with mischievous intent to go to a police officer and accuse you, and you'll be subjected to all of these possibilities without even having an opportunity to say to the judge, what are you talking about?
A vocal critic of the bill, leader of the Democratic Republican Party, Anesia Baptiste, stated this country's journalists would feel the bitter end of the stick, as she said the passing of the bill will have a great impact on their profession, as according to her, the bill was poorly drafted.
These things need to be properly drafted in order for them to make sense. It should not be a crime for journalists just to obtain data. And even if he says the journalist will be protected if he can show that the obtaining was in the interest of the public or the public interest. That should not be like that. Why do I say that? I say that because of this. For you to say that I will only have the defense if I could prove it is in the public interest, it means I would have already some kind of evidence would have already been brought against me, and I'm now being charged. And now in the court, I have to prove I have public interest defense. But why am I even being charged for illegal obtaining? To obtain is not illegal. To open your email and get a leak is not illegal as a journalist.
The cybercrime bill was debated over a period of 2 days and was passed on Friday, August 12th. Molisha Miller, The Evening News.
Opposition leader and president of the New Democratic Party, the NDP, Baptiste, is of the view that the newly passed cybercrime bill will help the government to rule with impunity and without accountability. In a radio address made earlier today, Eustace condemned the new legislation, stating that it is a backward step to colonial repression. The opposition leader and member of parliament for East Kingstown also says that the Cybercrime Act facilitates an era where there was voicelessness during slavery, as persons were punished for speaking out.
An attack by an illegitimate regime that simply seeks to protect itself from criticism, prevent revelation and scrutiny of its actions, so as to continue to rule with impunity. The bill was slightly modified before its final reading, but the modifications were of no fundamental benefit. The Cybercrime Act, as passed, is still a dangerous, backward and faulty piece of legislation in spite of those aspects which are needed, such as sections that treat with the scourge of child pornography. The act is nonetheless repressive. and explicitly intended by a spiteful and vindictive regime to inflict harm on citizens of this country. A law that will protect and keep a ruling elite, a select few, from being exposed and held accountable should they break other laws.
Eustace reiterated that his party strongly opposes the Cybercrime Act, stating that it is intrusive to private gadgets.
That this regime has steadily and systematically stacked the weight of the law against you, the citizens of this country. And with the passage of this Cybercrime Act, with the unprecedented access it gives to the regime, to your cell phones, your devices, and your computers, the regime's ability to intrude on your lives goes from constitutional, measured and reasonable, to invasive, unconstitutional, and dangerous. This Cybercrime Act is unacceptable in any modern democratic society, and we in the New Democratic Party unequivocally condemn its passage.
All 7 members of the opposition side voted against the bill on Friday. And Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves is reminding persons that while there is freedom of expression, it is always limited by certain constraints of the law. Dr. Gonsalves' comments came on Sunday, August 14th on a local radio program as he responded to many claims that the government is seeking to restrict freedom of expression with the passing of the cybercrime bill. He explained that additional safeguards have been put in place towards the amendment of the bill, noting the previous provision which was in place as it relates to electronic surveillance required to intercept communication was taken out. The Prime Minister stressed that the bill has been amended over the months to best cater to this country's citizens. He added, however, that contrary to the opinion of some, the government did not change the law. He stated it is precisely the same and the provision of criminal libel has simply been made applicable in relation to the use of a computer.
Then the one that if you obtained information which was unauthorized, you would commit a criminal offense. We said no, there should be a public interest defense. That is, if you get some information on your computer, pigeon, that somebody in government is corrupt, and you publish it, you must have a public interest defense. You must say that I publish this because it's in the public interest. You see what I mean?
Yes, yes.
But of course, you must make sure that you have the information which is correct.
The Prime Minister said he was pleased with the contributions made from members of the government side on the bill and reiterated his disappointment with the opposition contribution, stating that they were not focused on the integral aspects of the bill.
And the only one who sought to address the cybercrime bill was Zita Barnwell. But she was all over the place and she didn't have a focus, so that the first address and all that. So I put that down to inexperience and so on and so forth. I don't know. But Jews, Ferdinand read the headlines of the bill, but not really the bill properly as reflected in his contribution. It's quite superficial.
Issues relating to family planning, responsibility for one's reproductive health, and protection from unwanted pregnancy were discussed in last Sunday's Hit Talk program. Panelist and Registrar of Psychiatry, Dr. Karen Providence, agrees that women should become fully responsible for their protection against unwanted pregnancy. However, she added that the input of both men and women must be heard as they both share the responsibility of reproduction.
The women are only one
one demographic group in our society, females, women. And so when we speak of reproductive health, as far as we know, reproduction involves the input of a male and female. And so why would we not include our males? So my thought on this is that reproductive health is one of the most important indicators of any nation's development. Hence, it cannot be left to any one demographic or socioeconomic group in determining how we address issues in regards to reproductive health. It needs the input of all departments of the state and non-governmental agencies, and hence our men need to be definitely a big part of this conversation.
Addressing the role of family planning in the fight against unwanted and unplanned pregnancy, Youth Program Coordinator for the St. Vincent Planned Parenthood Association, Marlon Charles, stated that in recent times, family planning has been associated solely with birth control and contraception. He noted that its real purpose is to empower both men and women.
Basically adapt the definition of family planning as being contraceptive. If you ask somebody about family planning, they quickly think about the injection or the pills or the insertion that one undertake in order to prevent, and that only deal with the aspect of preventing. What about when we introduced family planning to St. Vincent and the Grenadines 50 years ago, we did not introduce it with the narrow mindset that it is today, only about the pills or the preventative method. As Ms. Phillips stated, we presented it with the whole notion of empowerment, of empowering both male and female, because we understand that these consequences of having unplanned or unwanted pregnancies, what they can lead, how one can suffer, not only educationally, not only societally, not only, but also mentally, because planning and managing a family is very mental strain upon a lot of people.
Another panelist, Reverend Dr. Cecil Richards, pastor at the Kingston Baptist Church, noted that as an entity, the church has been doing its part in promoting morality, which is a factor in reducing unplanned and unwanted pregnancy, and considers criticisms leveled against the church unfair, noting that some persons refuse the advice and guidelines set out.
Alacrity with which you would send your child to, hold on, because you're not the only person listening. I'm not talking to you even, I'm talking to all the women out there. That the same people out there, that the same ease with which you want to enroll your child in something that is secular and expose them to all kind of secular stuff, right? Why not get them involved in the church, because they will learn more from the church, and then at the end of the day you come back and say, oh, the church didn't. No, you didn't, because, not just you, caller, you didn't, because you made a choice that you don't want the influence of the church in your child's life. So when they go to be 12 and 13 and 15 and start carrying on with the nonsense, you say, what is the church doing? The church was there all along doing something. You made a choice. You made a choice not to accept what the church is doing.
No, we have to break that conversation. We only have a few minutes left.
$300 to enroll in a dance band, in a carnival band. Free to go to church.
Okay.
Free to go to church.
Free to come alive.
Understand? Very alive.
2 primary school students have been awarded for their achievement in the Caribbean Primary Exit Assessment Examination by the Building Roads and General Services Authority, BRAXA. Speaking at the handing over ceremony on Friday, Communications Officer of BRAXA, Roxanne Millington, used the opportunity to give the children a few words of encouragement.
Being a good student throughout school is like preparing yourself for a marathon, which will begin after you graduate. So study hard, because the last thing you want to is to tire yourself out before the finish line. Always remember that education is the anchor that holds life together through choppy waters. Study hard. Getting good grades are stepping stones towards getting into a good college, getting a good job, and eventually living a good life. Shun those complacencies, avoid those boring bees, and strive every single day to get those awesome A's.
She also urged the parents to be the role model their children deserve by providing guidance and support to them at all times.
Many times they are capable of accomplishing much more than parents believe. Teach your child that their uniqueness is their power. Starting from a young age, it is important to ingrain in your child that the things that make them different from others are their greatest assets. Encourage them to take pride in their individuality and continue to reinforce this idea as they get older so that they learn to celebrate the uniqueness that should be the unique qualities in themselves and in others instead of losing self-esteem.
CEO of Braxa, Dexter Jelliso, also encouraged the students not to settle for that which they already have accomplished, but to strive to achieve greater.
Students, as you move into this new stage of your development, which will no doubt come with new challenges and experiences, I urge you not to be satisfied with just getting into a secondary school, but to continue to work hard so you can attain even higher achievements. Sometimes things may seem hard and difficult, but remember, perseverance always prevails. And as my former uncle and mentor, Cecil Roberts, always told me, it's what you put in, you get out, Dexter. Simply meaning if you put in a great effort, you will always get back great rewards.
The Heartist Group for Young Creatives is an arts group that provides opportunities for their members to express themselves through the visual arts, music, drama, and dance. To this end, the group has scheduled an art exhibition later this month where the members will be showcasing their talent through music, dance, and drama performances. They will also be showing off their original artwork.
Also don't know, the Heartist Association is a group for creatives. Basically have the arts and the entertainment combined together. And what we do, we try to get the young people to expose more of their talents and also be able to have other opportunities. The Heartist theme is more than just trying to get our name out there and so forth. What our team wants to achieve is getting our dealing with social issues such as women and children, crimes, bullying, and the whole wide range of social issues. We are having an art exhibition called Artist Freedom. We made it possible for everyone to be able to enjoy what the exhibition is about, to feel the energy, to experience just the whole works of the exhibition. So on Thursday the 25th of August, which is next week Thursday, we'll be having our Artist Freedom exhibition.
Here now from some members of the group on how it has helped them to develop their talent.
This is a piece entitled Destruction and Reconstruction. It's kind of based on a biblical theme from the book of Revelations. So it's about coming out of darkness into light and finding your true self with God and with society. So out of the world destroyed around you, but coming out into a good light afterwards.
Well, for me, being in the group, it's been quite an interesting experience, meeting other young persons such as myself who love the arts, who want to show the Vincentian public what they do and create a change, and to show persons that, even though we're young, that we have the potential and the ability to create a change.
I believe that Heartist is trying to send a message saying that anything is possible once you put your mind to it. Once you have a talent, just go for it and do it. And you must achieve something great in life.
It has helped me to develop both mentally and physically, as I'm now working on my art skills. I wasn't really too much into art while I was in school. This is actually one of my first paintings. Before I go off to study, I expect the group to branch out and go to a wider scale, not just in Vince only, but the Grenadines, and get more people to know what we're all about.
If you walk down the street, you just see like a normal person, but as a photographer, you start to see things differently and more see things in ways that you can bring out your creativity.
iJazz Creations is a combination of many different things. We started out by designing, crocheting swimsuits and stuff like that. Then eventually we branch off into books, stationaries and everything like that. So it's a talent group. Actually, we have many different things in collection. Actually, for the group, really, it's just for me to express my inner feelings. It's for the public to actually accept who I am. I have many different moods, so to speak. That's what really my group is all about. My creations is all about. It's expressing different areas in my life. And for the exhibition, I will actually be portraying places like from where I started to where I am now.
The exhibition will take place at the General Post Office car park from 9 a.m. on Thursday, August 25th, 2016.